Your legs are getting smaller each year. Here's how to reverse it naturally. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here, for taking time not just to watch, but to take care of the body that's carried you this far. I didn't notice it at first, but one morning, as I stood in front of the bathroom mirror, something caught my eye. My calves, once sturdy from years of walking, the dog gardening and chasing after grandkids, looked smaller, softer, like someone had quietly taken strength from them while I was sleeping. I chuckled, at first brushing it off. You're just getting older, I told myself. But then came the stairs. Climbing up to the second floor felt like hiking a mountain. I had to grab the rail tighter. I started choosing the elevator more, even when it was just one floor. And worst of all, I began avoiding long walks with my grandchildren. Not because I didn't want to go, but because I was afraid I wouldn't keep up. That's when it hit me. My legs weren't just tired, they were changing, shrinking, weakening. And I had no idea it was happening until it started to limit my life. If you're over 60, I want you to take a deep breath and really ask yourself, have your pants started feeling looser around your thighs? Do your legs feel wobbly after standing too long? Have stairs suddenly become more intimidating? Because here's the truth. No one tells you. Your legs are quietly getting smaller each year, and unless you take action, that loss of strength could cost you your independence. But I promise you this, you can reverse it. Naturally. At home, starting today, and in the next 30 minutes, I'll show you exactly how. It starts earlier than you think. I used to believe leg weakness was something that came in your 80s or 90s. Turns out I was wrong. Studies now show that muscle loss actually begins in your 30s, and by the time you hit 60, you could have lost up to 30% of your muscle mass, most of it from your legs. But here's the scary part. It's not just about size. It's about strength, balance, and control. Because leg muscles aren't just for walking. They're your foundation. They hold you up, keep you steady, let you move without falling. And once they begin shrinking, it doesn't take long to feel the difference. You stand up from a chair and feel wobbly. You hesitate before stepping into the shower. You grip handrails a little tighter on the stairs. At first, it's subtle. Then one day, it's all you notice. I remember asking my doctor about it. He said something I'll never forget. The body doesn't wait until you're ready. It declines on its own timeline, but you can slow it down if you feed it what it needs. He was right. The loss of muscle, especially in the legs, isn't just inevitable aging. It's called sarcopenia, and it's influenced by diet, hormones, movement, even stress. The good news, unlike some parts of aging, this one is reversible. But first, you have to recognize what's happening. I used to think muscle loss would be obvious, that I'd wake up one day and just feel dramatically weaker. But it doesn't happen that way. Instead, it sneaks in quietly. Here are the signs I noticed, and maybe you have too. 1. Standing up feels slower than it used to. I used to pop right out of a chair. Now I find myself bracing on the armrest. That simple push-up takes more effort too. Climbing stairs feels like a workout. It's not that I can't do it. It just takes more breath, more focus. Sometimes I pause halfway up, pretending to look around, but really, I'm just tired. 3. Loose pant legs around the thighs. This one surprised me. My jeans didn't shrink in the wash. They just started fitting differently. Not tighter. Looser. 4. Wobbliness when standing still. In line at the grocery store or brushing my teeth. My legs feel a bit shaky, like they don't want to hold me up as long. 5. Less confidence on uneven ground. I used to walk on gravel or grass without thinking. Now, I look for flat pavement. My body feels more hesitant, like it's unsure of each step. 6. Nighttime leg cramps. They strike randomly tight, sharp cramps that wake me up. It's your body's way of screaming, "Hey, we need help down here." 7. A subtle fear of falling. Even if you haven't fallen yet, you might find yourself avoiding quick turns, long walks, or places without handrails. That creeping anxiety. It's often the first sign your legs aren't supporting you like they used to. I ignored these signs at first, thought they were just normal aging. But now I know they were warnings. And if you're feeling any of them, it's not too late, but it is time to act. Let me tell you something most doctors won't explain fully unless you ask. Your legs are shrinking, not because of age itself, but because of something called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is the gradual loss of muscle mass that starts as early as your 40s but speeds up dramatically after 60. And it's not just about size, it's about strength, balance, coordination, and independence. I didn't know. I was losing muscle until I saw an old picture of myself. My legs looked fuller, stronger. Back then, I could walk for hours without aching. Now, a flight of stairs feels like a challenge. So why does this happen? 1. Hormonal changes. After 60, your body produces less testosterone and growth hormone. Yes, even in women. These hormones play a huge role in maintaining muscle mass. Without them, your body naturally begins to shed what it thinks it doesn't need. And guess what? It gets rid of first? Muscle, especially in your legs. 2. Inflammation from food and stress. Processed foods, sugary, snacks, and even chronic stress can trigger inflammation. This damages your muscle tissue over time, making recovery harder and loss more rapid. 3. Inactivity. Even if you go for a walk once a day, long periods of sitting after breakfast, watching TV, reading add up. Muscles not used regularly will fade. It's like a garden left untended. It doesn't stay the same. It withers. Poor nutrition. Your muscles need protein, omega-3 fats, magnesium, and vitamins D and B12. Most seniors, I know myself included at one point, just weren't getting enough from our daily meals. But here's the good news. You can reverse this muscle loss. After 60 is not a life sentence. I've seen it in myself and in dozens of friends who made small changes that made a big difference. I remember the morning I added this to my breakfast salmon. Not a big fillet, just a few slices left over from dinner. Within weeks, something changed. No, I didn't suddenly run a marathon. But I could get up from the couch without bracing my hands. I climbed stairs without that burning ache halfway through. And by the end of the month, my legs felt steadier, more awake. So what's in salmon that made such a difference? High quality protein. As we age, our bodies don't process protein as efficiently. That means we need more of it, not less, to maintain muscle. Salmon delivers some of the cleanest, most absorbable protein there is, and it helps rebuild the muscle you've already lost. Omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats don't just protect your heart. They actively fight inflammation inside your muscles, that stiffness in your knees, that dull ache after standing too long. It might not be just age. It might be inflammation. Salmon can help calm vitamin D and B12. Most people don't know this, but salmon contains both, and both are essential for muscle strength, nerve signaling, and energy. When you're low on these, you don't just feel tired, you feel unsteady. That's what I felt before I made this change. But here's what surprised me the most. It didn't take much. Just adding salmon to 2 or 3 meals a week, grilled, baked, or even canned, made a clear difference. I didn't need pills. I didn't need supplements. I needed nutrients from real food. And if you're plant-based, I've got an option for you in the next part, because what you eat is either weakening your legs or rebuilding them. There's no middle ground after 60. After seeing what salmon did for my legs, I started asking, what if I'm missing other nutrients that could help me walk stronger, longer? That's when I found a new morning routine, adding oats to my breakfast. Not the instant kind. With added sugar, I mean plain rolled oats. I'd cook them slowly, with water. Add a spoon of peanut butter, a sprinkle of berries. At first, it felt too simple, too bland. But within 2 weeks, I felt the change. Here's why oats became a game changer for me. 1. Energy that doesn't crash. Oats are full of complex carbohydrates, the kind that release energy slowly. I used to feel exhausted by mid-morning. My legs would feel like dead weight. Not anymore. With oats, I had steady strength through the morning, whether I was out gardening or walking to the store. 2. Plant-based protein. Most people underestimate oats. They're not just carbs. They contain more protein than you think. And when paired with milk or nuts, they become a full meal that feeds your muscles what they need to repair and grow. 3. Iron and magnesium. Before oats, I'd get leg cramps in the middle of the night, sometimes sharp enough to wake me up. I didn't know then that I was low on magnesium. Oats fixed that. They also improved my circulation. I stopped getting that heavy, sluggish feeling in my legs by midday. But more than anything, oats gave me a sense of control again. Because losing strength in your legs isn't just physical, it's emotional. It makes you afraid of falling. It makes you question whether you can walk alone. That bowl of oats reminded me, you can fight back. One breakfast at a time. One morning, I was massaging my knees after a long walk when I realized something strange. They didn't hurt. Just a week ago, my joints felt stiff every time I got out of a chair. My hips would click with each step. But this day, my legs moved smoothly, almost like I'd reversed time. I traced everything I'd done, and all arrows pointed to one change. I started eating half an avocado a day now. I'd always thought avocados were just a millennial food, something young people put on toast. But after reading about its healthy fats and muscle-repairing nutrients, I gave it a try. Here's what happened. 1. The stiffness in my joints began to fade. Avocados are full of unsaturated fats, which reduce inflammation. For me, that meant my knees stopped creaking. I could bend squat, climb stairs without that familiar burning ache. 2. My balance improved. This surprised me. I didn't know until later that avocados are packed with potassium even more than bananas. That potassium helped regulate my muscle contractions, reduce spasms, and made me feel more stable on my feet. 3. I felt looser, younger, more fluid. It wasn't just strength returning to my legs. It was grace. I could get in and out of the car with ease. I even danced a little while, cooking dinner one evening. My legs weren't just stronger, they were free. Eating avocado wasn't about the taste. It was about saying to myself, I still want to move like I used to. It was about reclaiming the rhythm. I thought I had lost to age, and every time I sliced that soft green fruit, I remembered. There's still power in choosing to care for your body, especially when it starts to give up. When I was a boy, my grandmother used to make homemade blueberry jam. I'd watch her stir that deep purple mixture in a heavy pot, the scent filling the kitchen. Back then, I thought it was just dessert. Now I know it was medicine just in disguise. Because at 71, when I started feeling sore after just walking down the driveway, I remembered her. And I remembered the berries, so I did what felt strange. First, I added a bowl of blueberries to my breakfast every morning. It wasn't long before I noticed something incredible. First, my muscle soreness faded faster. Turns out blueberries are loaded with antioxidants, and those little guys fight oxidative stress, a silent force that breaks down your muscle tissue as you age. Second, my knees didn't feel like rusted hinges anymore. That's because berries are natural anti-inflammatories. They don't just reduce swelling, they calm the tension that builds up deep in your joints. Third, my memory started to sharpen. No, really. I could recall names quicker. I stopped misplacing my keys. And I later learned berries don't just protect the body, they protect the brain. But more than all the science, something else changed. I felt younger, not in age, but in attitude. I started waking up curious again, walking farther, laughing more. When your body doesn't ache, your mind dares to dream again. That tiny handful of berries reminded me, you're not done yet. Your muscles may age, but healing is still possible. Hope can still grow, even in the quiet of your morning oatmeal. And if my grandmother were here today, I think she'd smile. Not just because I finally listened, but because I finally understood. There was a moment just last spring when I stood at the bottom of a set of stairs in the park. Not a long staircase, just 12 steps. But they looked like 12 mountains. And I'll admit it, I almost turned around. Almost. But I took that first step, and then another. And by the time I reached the top, I wasn't just breathing harder. I was proud. That's what this journey has been about, not becoming young again, but becoming strong again. Not perfect legs, but capable ones. Legs that carry you to the grocery store, to your grandchild's school play, to the quiet joy of watering your plants on a Tuesday morning. In this story, I've shared the truth. I wish someone had told me sooner. Your legs weaken first, but they don't have to stay weak. You don't need a gym membership or a doctor's permission slip. You need simple choices: sweet potatoes, oats, salmon, berries, eggs, and one strong decision to care. Care enough to fight for your mobility. Care enough to feed your muscles what they're craving. Care enough to believe that strength can return at any age. So if you've made it this far, let me tell you what that means. You haven't given up. You still want more life, and you deserve it. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 6 foods do you already eat? Which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if this video reminded you of someone, your spouse, your parent, your neighbor, share it with them. You never know whose life could change from one click. If you found this story helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another tip to stay strong and live fully. Because your legs aren't just your foundation, they're your future. And the stronger they are, the further you'll go.